Hey, everybody. Welcome to Boss Gals Talking Tea. My name is Casey.
And I'm Yolanda.
And y'all here at Boss Gals, we are here to empower you, professional women, to reach new heights of success where we foster a supportive environment that aids in unlocking endless possibilities for
Yes.
professionals and a leadership development. Now, what are we here to talk about today? I think you're going to like it. Well, we're going to discuss corporate America, aka the hair factor. All right. So I'm going to start off just with a quick story. So everyone, as you can see, I have lustrous locks. Woo-hoo. Started my journey
Woo-hoo.
in December. And just very quickly, I was asked to do some updates to my headshots. And not that my headshot didn't already look good. Well, my current headshot has two strand twist in it. But for my most recent headshots that were requested, long story short, to the photo shoot, I bought a wig. I should have brought it here today just to show y'all. And the photographer and everybody around kind of laughed at me. And my mom wasn't there, but she laughed because she was like, "Why do you have a wig?" And so it's my mindset. My mindset was still in the mind of corporate America is still not ready for this. And they didn't look like this. They're not mature now, but they weren't quite as thick. So they were kind of small and
Yeah.
stringy. And so yeah, y'all bought a wig. So to find out what happened at the end, you're gonna have to watch the whole show to know what did I do. Did I wear the wig or did I wear my lustrous locks? So speaking of that, that is my hair journey. So Yolanda, take over and tell us a little bit about your natural hair journey. Y'all, what did Yolanda have? Do you think she had braids? Did she have what she has now? Did she wear weaves? No.
So I'm just gonna warn y'all. Sometimes I talk a little long.
She does
So if you see Casey saying
long
wrap it
hair.
up, just yeah, we have that little signal. So actually, probably like most Black women around my age, which is over 40, well over 40, I rocked, relaxers a good part of my life. And then about 15 and a half years ago, I actually got locks. Now, I didn't get them because, I had just, I got woke, right? And I was basically my hair was starting to fall out, and my doctor said, you either go natural or you lose all your hair. And so locks was kind of a natural transition for me. I wanted kind of low maintenance. And so I had locks for 15 years until
15 years.
November. Yeah,
I'm only
15
3
years.
months in and she 15 it was in.
Yeah, and actually, Casey and I transitioned right around the same time. Right, she went from protective hairstyles to locks, other protective hairstyles to locks, and then I cut my hair off because I was dealing with alopecia, right, and treatments and all that kind of stuff, all those kinds of things. And so that was my journey. In terms of getting to where I am now with my little
Okay. We didn't say
uh,
model. We
oh
said
yeah. Look, I gotta look. I just went to the hairdresser. I gotta show it off.
Jesus. All right. Well,
Yes,
speaking of you transitioning, we both
yes.
transitioned at the same time. Again, she cut her locks off. While she was cutting her locks off, I was sitting in a chair getting my locks done. So, speaking of that, what was your experience with locks in the professional setting?
So I worked for nonprofits and the state for a lot of years until 2014.
Okay.
And at that right, and so I had my locks when I transitioned to corporate America. And so I during the interview process, one of the questions I asked was, is this okay, right? Because I know that not every environment is amenable
Mm-hmm.
um, to natural hair and the way Black women wear their hair. And so now it just happened to be a Black male who was interviewing me, but he said it would be it would be fine. And I'm trying to remember when I came into the environment. There were some women who had locks,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't, 10, 11 years ago, actually, it wasn't as
Yeah.
prevalent, right? With
Mhm.
locks and fros and that kind of thing. But I loved my locks. I thought they were sexy. I thought they were nice. I kept them neat all the time. So I didn't even give it a second thought, honestly, when I came into corporate America.
Now I remember when we were prepping, you spoke of a woman who gave advice to someone
Oh boy.
who had some locks, and just quickly,
Keyword quickly.
tell our audience viewers what that advice was and if you agree with it. Now I'm gonna tell y'all before she start, I don't agree with it. I thought it was, I don't want to use the word tacky. I just thought it
Uh-huh.
was, wow, like it's one of us. But anyway, I'll let you give the story. But go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, it was a young lady who had braids. It was a few of us, right? A couple of young ladies had braids. I had locks, and the advice that she gave was, wear your hair, your locks and braids pulled back, kind of like in a bun or something like that, right? Kind of pulled back until you prove yourself.
Mm.
And at the time, I didn't give it a too much of a second thought at the time, right? Again, it was all new information. I was transitioning into corporate America, didn't think much about it. And mind you, I spoke to one of my mentees last week, and she was in a program here. I don't know if it's just in Charlotte, but they also gave the advice of pulling their hair back, even if it was natural, into a bun, right? Because that's professional. It does look professional, but that's not the only thing
Yes.
that defines professional, which we'll talk about later. Anyway, and so after being at work for, I don't know, a month or two, I noticed that nobody else had to wear their hair pulled back in a bun that didn't have lots of braids. They were able to wear their hair free flowing. And I was like, bump that. I'm going to be free too. And so I wore all my styles and curls and everything else. And my work spoke for itself, right?
Like proving yourself. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that like I'm like a little bit taken aback by, because if I already have the job, obviously you thought there was something
Correct.
befitting about my resume and my work experience that already tells you I can do the job. Now, of course, we know people don't always show up to their job as they did to their interview. However, think about somebody like me to pull my little bits
It
into
was it
a
was
line.
ridiculous.
It would look
Mine
ridiculous.
Now here's the part that I left out. The woman who gave us that advice actually had like a nice, fro-ish kind of hairdo. And I think so she had been in corporate for a lot of years. I think some of the OGs, right, are having a bit more trouble making that transition, and feeling comfortable, particularly the ones that have been there for a while. They've risen through the ranks. I think our younger folk are coming as they are,
They
right?
feel
But
like, oh, we were.
right,
That's how.
right, but remember, right? They had you look they had to fight for everything they had. They were struggling to make it to where they are in corporate America, and they had to, or felt like they had to, and probably did for a very long time, assimilate.
Right.
Right, and so assimilating meant you had to get a relaxer, and wear your hair, and not in its natural state. Now, don't get me wrong; it is nothing wrong with relaxers if that's what you
Yeah,
want to
that's
do.
what you prefer.
Right, right. And I had them for a long time and had my hair not come out. Who knows? I may have still had it, but go ahead.
Well, I think the OG, it's all about transitioning the mindset.
Hmm.
So you, in one case, I feel like you've argued for the OG because essentially they have been in this mindset for so long. It's just like our parents. Our parents are in the mindset of you stay on a
Yeah.
job forever until you retired. I mean, both my dad retired from the only job he had out of the military. My mom would have stayed in the same job had she not moved to a different city. So
Hmm.
it's all a mindset. Like they think now, 5 years you work at a job and you look to move on. So I give her credit. You gave an argument for her, which is she was an OG. So for her, I'm going to give her a point because her mind, we won't say brainwash. Her mind is just has stayed with the mindset your professional appearance means your hair has to be corporate neat. My hair is neat now, but it's not pinned up in a ball. It's in locks. But her mindset is neat, corporate neat. And so that is at no fault to her because she's probably been in corporate America for a long time.
And
Oh,
yeah, and not even corporate need, right? I was thinking about this in
or
this morning or
professional
last,
neat.
right? I mean, but even beyond that, right? I was thinking about this last night or this morning. I don't know. I don't remember. And I remember my grandmother, which is a bit older than your mom, right? But my grandmother, was brought up in with the colorism thing, right? And
Mhm.
so she'd probably be turning over in her grave if she saw these little balls on my head, right? Because they grew up in a time where they call people pickaninnies and stuff like that. And for me to have these little twists, she would probably be looking at me real strange, right? So you have that generation who then was the parents of who we call like some of the OGs, right? And just kind of making that transition. And truth be told, about 5 years ago, I would not have done this either, right? And but I've
Why? Why wouldn't you have done that?
just because of even
Personal
how
or work related?
probably personal.
Okay.
Probably personal. Part of it is that I had at that time, right? Again, with us wearing our natural hair, it is being transformed all the time, just different styles and
Mhm.
things like that. And so me seeing, and now even the men. Okay, I probably shouldn't say this, but there was a guy, right? So we talk about women, but men as well, right? Now there was a guy who got in an elevator, and I'm talking about he was tight, right? Beard tight. I think he had put the beard cream on and everything was shining. But he had a fro with the spongy, you could tell I'm getting old, the spongy thing, right? And so he had his natural hair spongy, and I tell you, he was nice from head to toe, right? But
Mm.
he was put together. But 5 years ago, that wouldn't have been okay. It wouldn't have been okay, right? And he wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to transition to like redefining what professional is, but I feel like this is a good, it's a good
Well, I mean, I want to
transition
talk
I'm
about that.
taking on.
Before we go back to that, let's go
Yep,
to the mindset. She told them that because her mindset said that is how you appear professional. So I think
exactly.
that's the thing is we give grace to the OGs because
Yeah,
they may never program their minds to get out of that mindset, and we may
exactly.
never convince them to. So that's going to be the first thing is that for those of you who, well, I mean, I guess, see, there's a in the middle, millennials, because the Gen
Mm-hmm.
Zers, they don't care. But in the middle, when we take advice from baby boomers or from people, before us, we have to first be okay with the fact that that's their mindset.
That's right.
In polite manner, just have to say no. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, then don't do it. Like go with
Mm-hmm.
what your mind says. Don't allow your mind to get trapped because I'll give you
Yeah.
the status of the wig story at the end, but my mind has somewhat been stuck in the mindset of
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to see that beginning phase of your hair that's all squiggly wiggly. They want to
Yeah.
see the finished product where it's long, even with locks, they want to see long, luscious locks. They don't want to see that short, all kind of
Yeah.
middle phase. So I think for me, it's just getting my mindset because I'm an 80s baby, but I grew up with baby boomers who are with aunts and uncles who are all like,
Mm-hmm.
how you look matters. And so it has to be
Yeah.
somewhat neat appearance. And I
and
got
and
one
and
for
yeah,
y'all.
and let's level set, right? Because I'm a low level rebel, right? I'm not quite power to the people, but I'm a low level rebel, right? And so like what you struggled with in terms of the wig, or right, I probably would not have that struggle because that's just not the way my mind works all the way, right? And so I think this is a really good conversation because you have people who the struggle is real. The struggles are real. I was on a call last week, and one of the young ladies, she has had some braids, and now she's taken her hair out, right, and she has like, hey Grayson, she has her hair out and it's kind of burgundy, right? And looks like she had either twisted it or braided it and then took it out. And so I enter and I'm like, hey, loving the hair, right? So we're I am and on the side, with during this meeting. And she's like, I'm still trying to get comfortable with it. I'm still, and I said, listen, throw on some earrings and some lipstick and it looks intentional, right? Right?
Good point.
Yeah. Listen, this morning, I wasn't feeling my hair this morning, right? It wasn't kind of like I wanted it to be. But nobody at work knew it. I put on my earrings. I put on my lipstick. I had on my little kitten heels, which I'm loving.
Y'all got a text message about.
And that's right. The whole crew, Noah loves my little kitten heels. And I walked in as a confident person that I am, right? And nobody would have known. It looked like I meant for my hair to look exactly like it looks, right? That I wasn't dissatisfied. And, I'm telling you, confidence goes a long way.
It does. Because, you could wear something you don't like or feel comfortable in, but you can exude confidence. And I don't really, my hair is kind of short. I have to pick it out. But still, I have to dress it up with ear. By the way, y'all didn't realize it, but I had one earring on. I had to take it out. But you can exude confidence, which is one of the topics or subtopics we had. But now we can kind of make that transition to making the shift. How do we redefine our definition of professionalism? And for me, I think professionalism is doing your work, showing up to work on time, having and when I say a neat appearance, make sure your clothes are ironed. And for me, there is no professionalism when it comes. There is, but there isn't. As far as a hairstyle, like locks, afros, braids, straight, perm, can all be worn beautifully and in a neat. Even afros can be worn in a beautiful manner. You can put a nice headband on with some nice big earrings. We have to get away from the stereotype that big hoop earrings is a no. No, just look neat. And when your professional appearance is neat and you do your job, I don't think that leaves room for anybody to, we've got to break down these stereotypes, because as Black women, our hair comes in all different textures, 4C,
that's
3C,
right,
2C, 1C. Some people have fine wavy hair. Some people have short, we say kinky, curly, coarse. So I think the idea is in whatever it is you do. If you're an attorney, a doctor, whatever, just make sure your appearance is neat. That's how I would define it.
Exactly right. Listen, people can tell if you just woke up, got out of bed, and walked out the door, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You can't have bad head, right?
Or I'm gonna say something. It's gonna maybe spark a plug in a lot of people. Wet hair. Now, that does bother me. You come to work with wet hair? No deal. Sorry, no for me.
Who do you see with wet hair?
I'm just saying, no, it's a no for me. Just wet hair, period. I'm just no. We're not gonna
right.
Wet hair. Dry. Go ahead and diffuse it if you're naturally curly.
Yeah.
And naturally curly is fine, but for those people that just wake up and their hair is just wet, no.
I've
seen it.
I'm sure you have. I'm with you. Yeah, I think, like I said, even when you're having a not so great hair day, there's ways around it. But I agree. If you are neat, and here's the thing, even with neat, right? So I remember, y'all know when I had my locks. My locks were tight, right? It was, even when it was time for me to get it maintenance, right? Maintenance or relocked. Most people didn't know it was time because I didn't do frizz and that kind of thing. That was me.
Oh, I like
However, However, there were people who I saw, right, who our loctician, right, who I saw who did have frizz and it looked just fine on them.
Yeah, that's not being neat. You can have frizz.
Exactly.
You can do a flip style. You can do a ponytail. That's not being neat. Not being neat.
Exactly.
You just waking up you ain't done nothing to it. It looks all over the place. You look all over the place. Your clothes are sprinkled.
Mm-hmm.
Your glasses is hanging off.
Yep.
Contacts falling out. Your lipstick is smearing up here with it on your teeth. You like you got one earring on. You didn't put the other. Well, one earring is a style, but I mean, you can. Your afro is an
Oh,
afro. It's good
yes,
and it can be
yes,
fluffy, but it can also
yes.
be neat because
Mm-hmm.
so just being neat is just like not waking up with one afro side smush and the other side out. Like
Exactly.
you can
Yeah,
anywhere
or having a
you
piece
are.
that's sticking out right here, right? That is working my last nerve.
Well, that's still not neat because the rest of your hair and appearance
I
is neat.
know.
But still just take the time.
Uh-huh.
Professionalism is being comfortable with what you have. If you have locks,
I agree.
if you have
I
short,
agree.
natural hair, be comfortable in what you have. You don't have to always style it with earrings and makeup, but just again, I think every job requires in their handbook that you come to work in a neat appearance. Now, some people, let's go back a question. You asked, was it okay
Mm-hmm.
in an interview to have locks? I mean,
It
was
not if it's okay, but if at that place, because here's the thing. When I am interviewing, I'm interviewing you too, right?
right? Absolutely.
Because I want to make sure that whatever environment that I'm in, that I can bring that at my job, they say bring your whole self to work. But I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna bring 75% of me. They can't handle like all 100%, and they're not getting all of me. But they get 75% of me, right? And the core of who I am. And so I want to make sure that this place that I'm going to be spending probably more time than I spend at home and with my family and friends is a place where I feel comfortable and that is inclusive, right? And that will accept me and all 75% of me, right? And so that was right. That was one of my questions, like kind of what is that environment like? Now, would I have still taken the job if the person was maybe iffy? Probably because they offered me the job, right? And then I would have gone in, being who I am, dealt with whatever microaggressions came my way, right? And
Mhm.
showed up and showed out and began, and be that thermometer, right? The person who kind of changes the temperature and begins to um, 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 you know, kind of set the stage or set the mode for somebody else coming behind me to feel more comfortable. And that's what I told the young lady who I was IM, and I'm like, listen, I said, it looks fine. I said, and the more leaders do this, right, be themselves, the more it makes other people comfortable to
Mhm.
come in and be themselves and not feel like they have to assimilate in whatever way that is, right?
I like that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
so just to summarize, we want you all to make sure you transition your mindset
Mm-hmm.
into what the hair factor is for corporate America. Like you are beautiful in itself. In itself, like you were born with the hair you were born with, just like you were born with the skin color you were born with. So transition your mindset to know that how your hair is perfect just for you, and don't ever be ashamed. Again, the mantra is, okay, just keep it neat. Just do beautiful styles. Don't wake up
Mm-hmm.
with bad head. You know what neat is for you, so rock it in your own way. um and so I'm gonna end with my last take, which is, my hair is not a rebellion. It's a reflection of royalty and beauty. But here's how this story ends. I didn't walk into that photo shoot like it was my hair was royalty and beauty. I walked into it like I had to meet a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everyone, I wore the wig. I took a picture with the wig and I took a picture with the beginning stages of my locks. I was told not to turn in the wig picture, only turn in the lock picture. Um, I turned in both pictures. To this day, my current headshot is still of me in two strand twists. I don't know what happened to those pictures. They never got published. Uh, it was both
Uh-huh.
were accepted. Both were stated that they were both beautiful, whichever one I want. And I actually ended the email with, you use whichever one you feel comfortable with. Now, that was probably 3 months ago. As of today, if I was told to do it again, no, absolutely not. I'm rocking what I got now. As you see me here on TV with my locks, I threw those wigs out. I got one left, and that's only just because I don't know. I don't even know why I got it, but I don't put on scarves. I don't put on wigs. This is me. I got a little twist going on the side with a little poof on the end. So
now I have to say, I do want a wig.
Well, yeah, you can wear a wig now, but I have too much.
Yeah, I want one because every once in a while, if something's not going on and I don't feel like doing my hair, I need a backup. But it's probably once or twice a year when I put it on. And my final is confidence goes a long way. I'm telling you, confidence goes a long way. And it's not the fake it till you make it kind of confidence. It has to be on the inside that exudes then on the outside and people recognize it. Walk in confidently.
Yeah, because it's like faith. The least bit of faith, you don't really believe. That's more doubt than faith. If you have the least bit of confidence, it's gonna show. Somebody gonna pick it up.
Right.
May not be everybody. Right. Somebody's gonna pick up. Oh, she don't feel good about that. But if you exude, if you just look yourself in the mirror and say, I got this, and you walk in like you got it, they're gonna be like, oh shucks.
Look, let me tell you something. I was I don't know if it's something to ask a question like, what's your song for the year? Now this is gonna sound real conceited, but I'm just telling you where I am. My song for the year is On My Mama. On my hood. I look fly. I look good. Listen, if I don't believe it, who will?
So to all my not millennials, Generation X and baby boomers and whatever Yolanda's generation is, you can be a professional and love a little bit of gangsta rap. That's what she's saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And you can love a little. Now, I personally, I'm more of a jazz head, but over here, our over this way, our corporate, that person over there is over here quoting gangsta rap.
I am. It's just the chorus. I only know the chorus. That's the part.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, friends. Well, we thank y'all for tuning in to Boss Gals Talking Tea. You will see our Instagram handle shortly up on the screen. We ask that you tune into our next. I don't even know what our next topic is going to be, but it's going to be good. So we ask you to subscribe to our channel and then tune into our next topic. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to, again, subscribe and be sure to like our Instagram channel. This is Casey.
This is Yolanda.
And we're saying have a great evening. And come on now. Fluff your hair right now. Fluff it as the camera is fading black. Fluff it, fluff it.
Fluff it, fluff it, fluff it.